It happened on a Friday afternoon in our San Francisco office at Apex Dynamics. The kind of moment that freezes everything and makes your stomach drop. I was Ryan Ellis, 31, product manager buried in feature specs when the shouting started from the break area. My coworker Lucas, 28, a cocky back-end engineer who'd had one too many IPAs from the open fridge, was holding court. Come on, man. Seriously? Harlan's still here acting like he's one of us? It's charity hour every day with that guy. Laughter rippled through the group, but it wasn't the light kind. It carried an edge, the kind that had been sharpening for months. I stood there, coffee in hand, feeling that familiar twist in my chest. The one I'd ignored for half a year. My name is Ryan Ellis. I work at Apex Dynamics, a fast-growing startup building AI-driven collaboration platforms. We're the usual crew, 120 people in hoodies and sneakers, chugging oat milk lattes, pulling all-nighters, convinced we're revolutionizing remote work. Our site talks about innovation and inclusivity. Reality was ping-pong tables, standing desks, and a culture that worshipped youth like it was the only currency that mattered. It started 6 months earlier when we hired Harlan Brooks as a 53-year-old intern in marketing. The press had hammered us hard. A Wired article titled Apex Dynamics, Innovative or Just Ageist, went viral after someone leaked our employee demographics. Average age 29. Oldest full-timer 37. Investors noticed. Our CEO, Mia Chun, 27. Sharp Stanford grad who'd raised $50 million in Series B, decided we needed a visible fix. Harlan came in as the diversity intern experiment, reporting to our 25-year-old marketing lead, Brooke. Harlan walked through the glass doors that first morning wearing pressed chinos and a crisp button-down, carrying a weathered leather briefcase that looked like it had stories from decades of real boardrooms. Bald on top with a neatly trimmed gray beard and reading glasses dangling from a cord around his neck. He scanned the open plan space, foosball table clacking, cold brew on tap, nap pods glowing softly, with calm curiosity. Neither awed nor intimidated. Just observing, like a professor auditing a chaotic lecture hall. Mia greeted him in the lobby with forced enthusiasm. Harlan, welcome to Apex. We're thrilled about our age diversity push. You'll add such perspective. She guided him past the espresso machine toward the worst desk in the office, tucked beside the humming printer and supply closet. Fluorescent light buzzed overhead. No window view. This spot works great for focus, she said. Harlan nodded politely. Appreciate it. Thank you. His voice was measured, deep, carrying the weight of education and experience. He set down his bag, adjusted the chair height carefully, and pulled out a physical notebook, actual paper, and a fountain pen. Across the room, Lucas snorted audibly to his buddy. Dude, is he for real with the notebook? Does he even know Slack exists? The whisper carried just far enough. Harlan didn't flinch. He simply opened the notebook, made a note, glanced around with a small polite smile. That smile hit me wrong. It wasn't offensive. It was resigned, almost understanding. And that's when the discomfort first clawed at me, this quiet knowing that something ugly was unfolding. But I kept my mouth shut. The first week dripped with condescension so subtle HR would struggle to flag it. Brooke showed him Slack like he was a child. Okay. Harlan. This is where we chat. Messages appear here. Super easy once you get it. She spoke slowly, enunciating each word. Harlan replied evenly. I've used similar tools before. Thank you. At lunch, while the team door-dashed poke bowls and ate hunched over keyboards, Harlan unpacked Tupperware, turkey sandwich, apple slices, carrot sticks. He sat at his desk, eating deliberately. Look at Grandpa taking an actual break, Lucas muttered loud enough for half the floor to hear. Must be nice having all that retirement energy. A few chuckles. I was 10 feet away. I opened my mouth. The words, he's not retired. He's contributing, forming. But they died in my throat. What if I became the target? What if it hurt my standing? It's just banter, I told myself. But my pulse quickened, and guilt flickered. Harlan heard every word. He continued eating calmly, scrolling his phone. No reaction visible. That stoicism made it worse. By week 2, the pattern solidified. Harlan arrived early, before the rush, organizing the chaotic supply closet without being asked. He color-coded markers, labeled shelves logically, created a simple inventory sheet taped inside the door. Lucas sauntered by later. Thanks for playing supply, Mom.
Harlan.
Real hero work. Patronizing tone like praising a kid's finger painting. Harlan's response. Happy to help make things run smoother. No sarcasm. Pure professionalism. In team meetings, he contributed thoughtfully. During a brainstorming session on user acquisition, he asked, have we considered expanding beyond the 18 to 30 demographic? Older professionals have significant spending power and loyalty in productivity tools. Brooke laughed lightly. Harlan, that's sweet. But our app is for digital natives. Older folks just aren't as engaged. Harlan jotted a note. I see. Interesting perspective. Later that quarter, a competitor released a senior-friendly interface and captured 20% market share from that segment. No one referenced Harlan's point. The silence around his ideas grew heavier. I noticed more, his old laptop humming slowly but reliably as he adapted. The way he stayed late some nights, quietly debugging marketing copy or researching trends. Never complained about the printer noise or lack of ergonomic setup. My discomfort compounded daily. Each small slight, eye rolls when he asked clarification on a tool. Jokes about vintage tech when he preferred email summaries stacked like bricks in my chest. I rationalized. It's startup culture.
Tough.
Competitive.
He can handle it.
But deep down, I knew we were eroding someone's dignity, and my silence made me part of it. The weight pressed harder each evening as I drove home across the Bay Bridge, replaying moments, wondering when I'd find the courage. 3 weeks in, the mockery found its digital home. I wasn't added, but screenshots circulated inside chats. A private Slack channel titled Harlan Doesn't Get It filled with memes. Harlan struggling with a new analytics dashboard photoshopped as an old man squinting at hieroglyphs. Harlan sending a detailed email mocked as ancient scroll technology. His suggestion about targeting mid-career users became Harlan's big idea, the fax machine 2.0. 50 people joined, including Brooke, bonding through cruelty disguised as humor. I saw the screenshots during a late-night debugging session when a teammate shared one laughing. My stomach churned. I could report it anonymously. But what then? Retaliation? Being labeled difficult? I closed the image. Told myself it would blow over. Harlan never complained. He showed up daily. Completed every assigned task, data entry, basic campaign research, note-taking with precision. Asked sharp questions in meetings that revealed gaps in our thinking. Yet they were dismissed with polite smiles. One Thursday, all hands. Mia presented financials. Harlan raised his hand politely. On the projected runway, considering current burn rate and customer churn, have we modeled conservative scenarios for extended sales cycles? Specific. Probing the math behind our optimistic forecasts. Mia blinked, fumbling slightly. We're solid.
Harlan.
Plenty of buffer. No need to worry. Harlan nodded. Understood. Just curious about the assumptions. The question lingered unanswered, but I sensed unease in Mia's quick pivot. It was the kind of inquiry a board member would pose. exposing vulnerabilities we preferred to gloss over. Small acts accumulated. Harlan fixed the jammed printer multiple times when no one else bothered. He suggested reorganizing shared drives for better version control. A simple but effective tweak ignored in favor of younger perspectives. Each dismissal chipped at the office atmosphere. But the team remained oblivious. High on their own disruption narrative. My internal conflict deepened. Nights. I'd lie awake replaying his calm responses. The quiet competence shining through condescension. Why didn't I speak? Fear.
Pure.
Career-preserving fear. At 31, I was climbing. Challenging the group risked isolation in our tight-knit, fear-fueled culture. So I stayed silent, the guilt simmering into a low boil. By month 3, it felt like carrying an invisible stone everywhere. Then came the client crisis. We lost a major enterprise account worth $900,000 annually. They cited unmet feature requests around accessibility and workflow customization for larger teams. Mia called an emergency huddle, voice tight with panic. Ideas.
People.
How do we recover? Suggestions flew, panic discounts, rushed updates. Harlan, after getting Brooke's nod, spoke measuredly. Reviewing the shared logs with permission, the client flagged accessibility gaps 4 times over 5 months. We acknowledged but didn't prioritize fixes. The competitor did within weeks. That's likely the trigger. The room stilled. Brooke jumped in defensively. We had it on the roadmap. Harlan replied gently. The logs show only acknowledgments. No follow-through timelines. He offered to share the documented timeline. Mia thanked him curtly for the feedback and moved on. Later, whispers. Grandpa's schooling us now? But privately, I checked the logs myself that evening. Harlan was spot on. The competitor's solution matched his earlier overlooked demographic insights perfectly. The discomfort evolved into something sharper, dread mixed with admiration. Harlan's experience wasn't theoretical, it was battle-tested wisdom from decades in the trenches. Yet we treated him like a relic. My silence felt heavier, like complicity in slow erosion. I started avoiding eye contact at his desk. The printers hum now a soundtrack to my shame. Weekends brought no relief. Just replaying scenarios where I could have intervened but chose comfort instead. Month 4 brought a technical meltdown. Servers buckled under unexpected load during a product demo for investors. Devs scrambled in the war room, deploying hotfixes that failed repeatedly. Harlan, working quietly nearby, offered softly, "Have you considered implementing auto-scaling with weighted load distribution across regions? I've seen it stabilize similar architectures." Lucas cut him off sharply. "No offense, Harlan, but this is deep infra. Stick to the supplies." Yeah, they dismissed him. 3 grueling days later, exhausted, they deployed essentially Harlan's suggestion. It stabilized everything. No acknowledgement. No thanks. Just relief the crisis passed. That night, driving home, tears stung my eyes unexpectedly. Not for Harlan alone, but for the rot I was enabling. The cost of my inaction felt tangible, missed opportunities, damaged culture, a man enduring daily diminishment. Yet still, I said nothing. The tension coiled tighter, waiting for its breaking point. By month 5, the pattern was entrenched. Harlan's presence became background noise to most, punctuated by occasional jabs. He adapted seamlessly, mastered our tools faster than some juniors, contributed thoughtful research reports on industry shifts that gathered digital dust. Yet every interaction reinforced the hierarchy: young equals innovative, older equals obsolete. I watched his resilience with growing unease. He never raised his voice, never filed complaints, just steady presence, Early arrivals organizing chaos no one else saw. Late departures refining deliverables. During one marketing sync, he questioned over-reliance on viral social tactics. What about building long-term loyalty through enterprise-grade reliability? Older decision-makers value stability. Brooke waved it off. We chase growth metrics. Harlan. He nodded, but his eyes held quiet disappointment. My guilt manifested physically, tight shoulders, restless sleep, snapping at my partner over small things. Friends noticed I seemed distant. Work stress? They'd ask. I couldn't explain the moral weight crushing me. Silence wasn't neutral, it was active participation. Each unaddressed joke, each ignored insight, eroded my self-image as a decent person. The server incident lingered. When the fix succeeded exactly as Harlan predicted, a few devs exchanged uneasy glances. One quietly admitted to me later. Weird how he knew that, but no apology came. The culture demanded we pretend it was coincidence. Month 6 arrived with the breaking point. Friday happy hour. Beer fridge flowing freely. Most lounged in the lounge area. Ties loosened. Voices loud. Harlan sat at his desk, headphones on, wrapping final tasks. He never joined these events. Invitations were half-hearted at best, laced with exclusion. Lucas, several beers deep, raised his voice to the room. Real talk. Why is Harlan even here? He's nice and all. But what's the actual value? He's like a diversity quota for grandpas. Charity case. Nervous laughs turned bolder. Learning curve of a snail, someone added. Tech moves too fast for fossils. Harlan stilled visibly at his desk. Something inside me fractured, the accumulated guilt of 6 months. The sight of his dignified resignation, the exhaustion of cowardice. Lucas, I said sharply, voice carrying across the suddenly quiet room. Stop. Right now. Heads turned. Lucas blinked.
Confused.
We were work buddies.
What?
It's just jokes. Ryan, it's not jokes. It's been 6 months of treating Harlan like he's less than. We've all done it, mockery. Condescension. Ignoring solid input. He doesn't deserve it. He's shown up early. Stayed late. Delivered without complaint. Offered insights we've dismissed because of his age and appearance. The room froze. I continued, pulse hammering. Look at us. We pride ourselves on innovation, yet we can't value experience outside our hoodie bubble. Harlan's been right about client issues, demographics, even the recent server fix. We've been too arrogant, too insecure to listen. I turned to Harlan. You've been right all along. I'm sorry it took me this long. Harlan stood slowly, briefcase in hand. His expression held sadness, not anger. You're correct, Ryan. But it shouldn't require half a year. He walked out calmly, leaving heavy silence. Monday. His desk sat empty. Brooke announced he'd emailed over the weekend. Internship complete. He'd learned what he needed. The office felt off, guilty undercurrents. Awkward avoidance. I avoided Lucas's gaze. Tuesday brought the bombshell. Mia summoned emergency all hands. Face ashen. We have a situation. Gregory Harlan, prominent VC we've courted for years, reached out about investment talks. But he specifically asked about Harlan Brooks. Quoted, I heard Harlan was interning there. How did that go? Learn anything valuable? Confused murmurs. Why would a top VC care about our intern? Mia projected a screen, a 6-year-old Forbes profile. Harlan Brooks sells pioneering AI platform to Google for $1.8 billion. Photo unmistakable. Younger Harlan. Shaking hands with execs. More articles followed. MIT PhD in computer science. Early machine learning pioneer. Board seats at Fortune 500s. Retirement at 49. Philanthropic focus. Net worth hovering near 2 billion. The room went deathly silent. Lucas looked ill. We'd had a tech legend organizing our supply closet, suggesting fixes we ignored. News exploded internally. Screenshots from the mockery channel were frantically deleted, but damage done. By Wednesday, TechCrunch ran. Billionaire tech pioneer goes undercover as intern. Startup had no clue amid ageist mockery. We appeared heartless. Screenshots leaked. Harlan's dignity contrasted our pettiness. Thursday, Mia arranged a speakerphone call with Harlan. Leadership team gathered, including me. Tension thick. Mia's voice trembled. Harlan,
We.
we had no idea. If we'd known your background. Harlan interrupted calmly. That's precisely the issue.
Mia.
You wouldn't have treated me differently only because of status. I wanted to experience the industry from the other side. He explained his 30-year journey, starting young in tech, thriving on disruption and youth energy, but at 53 feeling the shift. I wondered, what becomes of people like me? Are we obsolete once gray hairs appear? I took this internship to observe firsthand, not to expose anyone, but to understand if ageism was as casual and pervasive as rumors suggested. Silence. You hired me as a box-ticking exercise after bad press, he continued. Intern tasks assigned because you saw an old man incapable of more. Yet my questions, suggestions, client logs, load balancing, demographics, weren't intern level. They were dismissed not because wrong, but because of my appearance and role. No one disputed. Facts aligned too cleanly. Mia asked what they could do to make amends. For me personally, nothing needed. I'm secure. But your culture? That's yours to fix. The next 50-year-old applicant, experienced or not, deserves real respect, not performance diversity. He addressed me directly. Ryan, speaking up mattered. Not enough to erase the months, but it showed awareness. Silence chooses sides. The call ended. Friday, Mia held another all hands. She hadn't slept. She projected the deleted mockery channel screenshots publicly. This was us. Mocking someone who came in good faith, worked diligently, offered value we rejected. The problem isn't ignorance of his wealth, it's that human worth shouldn't hinge on net worth or age. His ideas deserved hearing regardless. She announced concrete changes, mandatory bias training focused on ageism, updated hiring panels with diverse age representation, explicit anti-discrimination policies, mentorship programs crossing generations, hiring targets for over 40 talent. Lucas,
Brooke.
and 2 others received formal reprimands, notes and files. Leadership warnings. Disrespect based on age or status has no place here. Zero tolerance. The news cycle lingered weeks. Harlan gave a measured NPR interview. He described ageism as casual, normalized, invisible to those benefiting. It's coded in young vibe culture's meaning, over 40 need not apply. Companies lose wisdom, resilience, perspectives that balance youthful speed. I listened alone, tears falling. His words validated my shame. Inaction equals complicity. 3 months later, an email from Harlan. Coffee? We met at a quiet cafe near Dolores Park. He looked relaxed in jeans and sweater, indistinguishable from any thoughtful professional. I apologized again, voice rough. I let it happen too long. Harlan listened. You grew from it. Kyle types learn from fear of consequences. You learned from conscience. That's rarer, more lasting. He shared he'd done similar undercover stints elsewhere, confirming the pattern. Pulse wasn't unique. We discussed tech's youth obsession, his early career parallels, financial warnings he'd tried delivering. Mia had dismissed them. Brooke discarded his memo unread. We were closer to the edge than admitted, he said quietly. 6 months, runway max. As we parted, I thanked him for the mirror he'd held up. You took the chance to improve, he replied. It was always available. 2 years on, Apex transformed measurably. 48 employees over 40, including a new CTO at 62. Age-inclusive training, cross-generational mentorships, strict policies against dismissive jokes. Retention improved. Innovation deepened with balanced viewpoints. Culture felt healthier, less frantic. I'm not sharing to praise Apex. Last week, we onboard a 22-year-old intern, fresh grad eager but green. In his first strategy meeting, he proposed an idea, half-formed, missing key context about our enterprise focus. A 28-year-old senior dev began, the familiar eye roll. Condescending smirk forming, ready to mock. I intervened immediately.
Hold on.
Let him finish his thought completely. The dev looked annoyed. He's an intern. Ryan. Still learning basics.
Exactly.
He's a colleague contributing ideas. We listen first, refine together. The intern continued, revealing a fresh angle on accessibility we hadn't considered despite Harlan's earlier echoes. Not perfect, but valuable kernel. Post-meeting, the dev approached. Why defend that? Because dismissing early signals teaches fear, not growth. Age or tenure doesn't dictate worth, effort. Humanity, potential does. We help develop it. He nodded thoughtfully. Fair point. I'll circle back with him. Harlan's lesson embedded deeply, never stay silent again. Witnessing disrespect demands immediate voice. Discomfort be damned. Each person deserves being seen fully, not for status or years, but inherent dignity. The story haunts me still. What if I'd spoken month one? How many insights lost? How much unnecessary pain inflicted? The question lingers. In your workplace, when you see someone dismissed for not fitting the mold, age, background, style, do you stay silent
Or act?
Inaction chooses. And once aware, silence becomes the heaviest burden. That pivotal Friday confrontation echoes. Harlan's calm exit. The reveals shock. The slow cultural repair. Redemption exists, but only through conscious choice. Repeated daily. The cost of looking away proves far higher than speaking truth. And every human, young intern or seasoned veteran, carries potential deserving respect from the start.